Welcome back. Do keep in mind you can join the conversation by sending us comments across major social media platforms using the hashtag Pollstream. Let's know what's happening where you are, and let's know what your plans are for the election tomorrow. Victor.
Indeed, because, you know, the thing is, a lot of people traveled the last time out. So are they traveling this time around?
Now, it's interesting that you asked me that because we have a question on our social media handles. That's at Channels TV, that's on Facebook and on Twitter, where we asked people if they traveled last week and if they do plan to travel
again
this week. Well, guess what? A lot of people are going to travel again, and I think that's good news.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at the whole thing, you know, people keep complaining that okay, you know, we don't have the right leaders, or you don't have, you know, the right people in legislation or thereabout, but you don't come out to vote. So why are you complaining if you don't come out to vote? You know, so if you travel the first time, you know, and then this time around you're saying, I know, I mean, the economy is kind of hard, you know, things are pretty much hard. But I mean, I think it's that sacrifice that you need to make. You know, you need to put in a lot more effort just to see that, you know, what you want to see, and I mean, be the change that you want to see.
That you want to see.
Exactly.
Now, I like the word sacrifice, because at the end of the day, this only happens once in 4 years. I mean, we're not going to have the verdict next month or next 2 months or next. It's only happens
as interesting as it is,
once in
I
4
mean,
years.
we won't have it in the next month.
And it takes a lot to get something like this done. Just as much as it takes a lot to put an election together, it takes a lot to get people to go out and vote. It takes a lot to travel. But I'm really excited.
So the thing is, I mean, this morning, you know, I was listening to Professor Ebody, you know, speaking about how technology can be infused into the election. I mean, I got pretty much, you know, excited with, I mean, he's pretty much old, but he was very enthusiastic when he was speaking about how the electoral system should move from where it is, you know, to a system where a lot of technology is infused into our system, where you don't have all the, where you won't even have the ballot boxes, ballot boxes being snatched. Yeah, you know, so it's going to be like a centralized system, and you're not going to have all those lapses that, okay, you have to, you know, collate from the wards to the local government to the state and then to the federal. I mean, it's just the process is kind of rigorous. He was, you know, advocating for the infusion of technology, and I felt really excited that someone that, you know, in that age bracket, you know, would be enthusiastically speaking about the infusion of technology into our electoral system.
We had a similar conversation last week about what we want to see, how soon we want to see it, and that, you know, the legislators need to start putting things in place. I remember the INEC chairman said something about this at the conference. We need to push this ASAP. Yeah. Nigeria needs to be at that level now.
Well, like you said, I mean, there are more young people contesting, and so hopefully if they get into the parliaments, they would push for that change. But let's get more reactions from Twitter this time around. At Owo Haywire says, disrupted my plans. I guess my plans were disrupted. I'm not ready to travel again with my family to the place where we registered. My enthusiasm has vanished.
We have Pauline04 said, I traveled last week and I had to come back again, wasting money, time, and delay in business.
Wow, that's not so encouraging.
Yes, well, majority, I tell you. I saw this comment. Yeah. Let's go to Facebook.
All right, on Facebook, we have Chikudi Godswill, and he says, my friend took a night bus from Lagos to Owerri for the election, only to hear about the postponement on the way.
Abel Fano said, I cancelled my wedding that Saturday because of the election, yet it did not hold. INEC is Amaka. I guess it's referring to Baba's song about Amaka disappointing.
Yeah.
Well, when we come back on Pollstream, Victor, I promise you're going to see tons of comments about people saying, I traveled last week. Yeah. I'm going to travel again. Yeah. Just, you need to stick around for these messages.
I know, right? But, you know, like they said, you know, every coin has two sides.
True.
You know, yeah. So, but I mean, so let's talking about young people. Let's you know, try to crunch more of those numbers. Earlier, and I talked about how it has risen from 21% last time around to 32.5% now. We're being joined by the research lead at Budget, Lloyd Atiku. It's a pleasure to have you on the program, Lloyd.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, loud and clear. So quickly, let's just cut the chase and go into the discussion. Lloyd, what are the numbers like in terms of young people, you know, registering for this election? Lloyd, if you can hear me.
Lloyd, are you there?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Lloyd. We can hear you loud and clear. We're asking, quickly that what is the number, what is the number of young people, across geopolitical zones that have registered for these elections?
Well, I'm having some difficulties actually hearing clearly, but notwithstanding that, I think it's important to look at what the people that will be voting, especially the demography itself, if that's where we are going. If we look at this year's registration, about 51% of young people between the age of 18 and 35 registered to vote. And if you try to compare the registration for last year and this year, it's interesting that most of the people, new people, that actually register actually young people, 18, 19, 20. So it will be interesting to see how the dynamism itself of Nigerian electoral system changes as we move along. Within the next maybe 2 electoral cycles, roughly given the fact that about 75% of people in Nigeria today are actually young people, they are below the age of 30. If the word young is actually put in context. Within the next 2 electoral cycles, roughly about 80% of voters in Nigeria will be within that age bracket. And it's interesting to see how these things actually play out.
Yeah, indeed. Of course, we can't wait to see how all of that will play out. But so one of the issues that has been raised, is the fact that, there are a lot more young people this time around running. And of course, like you said, there are a lot more young people that have registered. Do you see that giving the young people an edge in this election?
Again, I think I'm having difficulties actually hearing clearly. If I pick the question clearly, I think what you're saying is that will the youth population actually, change, have any effect on the voting pattern? If I'm right, is that what you're saying?
So just we don't get misconstrued, we don't misconstrue each other. Hopefully we'll have you again on the program when we have a better internet connection, of course, from your end. But just to wrap up this conversation, we'll be joined now by Terry Ikumi from our Abuja studio. Terry, it's a pleasure to see you again.
In Lagos. I always like to add that.
My wife would always add that. Pleasure to see you both. How are you doing?
We're great. We're great.
Doing
Lagos
well.
is great this morning. So quickly, you were at the presidential, at the APC caucus meeting where the president made some comments. And as a result of that comment, there was a hashtag that started flying on Twitter, snatch at your own risk. What was that all about?
I'll take it one step further. There was a more interesting hashtag, ballot for bullet. And I think that has raised the question of whether or not people are confident to go out without the fear of violence happening at elections. Some other persons have also questioned why you'd have to be scared if you have no reason to snatch ballots. But then I think to a great extent, that might have an impact on the output, the voter turnout. Will people be apprehensive, be scared of getting shot mistakenly in the event of violence? Or has it instilled some level of confidence in persons to go out and say, I'm going to cast my vote knowing that there will be security and there will be no ballot box snatching? So it's neither here nor there, but yeah, to see that trend, I think that's a good thing. It creates the awareness. But then let me also add that the persons who might be involved in this violence probably don't have access to television. They probably didn't hear that statement because we know that at the rural areas, there's a lot of ballot box snatching that happens.
Well, Terry, we would have to say thank you for joining us. Of course, I would have you a lot longer later on the show, but we have to say thank you again for the updates on the hashtag as well as the analysis today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Victor, before we wrap up, I want us to take the selfies. We're encouraging people to send in selfies,
yeah, indeed,
selfies.
Indeed.
So let's just a few
We should
selfies.
take one here?
Yeah.
We should take one here?
Not now.
Okay.
Your phone isn't really here. So.
You want my phone to be here?
No.
Okay.
No. Let's take the selfies.
All right, please send in your selfies, of course, as well as your locations, and of course, we'll be glad to share them. But that's where we'll wrap it up on this edition of Poll Stream. We'll be back later on in the day with more of your reactions from the social media platforms. Of course, I'm Victor Matthias.
And I'm Ayo Algodili.